Hey guys, welcome to the E-commerce Paradise podcast. Today on the show, I have a special guest, my buddy Izad. He's from Malaysia, and welcome to the show, Izad.
Welcome, thank you. I'm honored to be on the show.
I'm so psyched to have you on here because I've known you for a while now. We met through a mastermind group and mutual friends, and we
Yep.
started talking about like affiliate marketing and blogging and stuff like that. And I got to learn a lot about you, and it was really cool that I learned that you're teaching the law of attraction kind of on the internet and also in person. Can you talk about like your story, your background, tell the listeners, who you are, where you're from, and how you got into teaching the law of attraction?
Okay. Well, let's see my story. I was born here in Malaysia, and when I was young, I moved to the U.S. with my family, and then we stayed there for I think a little over 10 years, and then I came back here, and then spent college, and then started working here and everything. So my I would say my story started when I was first I think maybe about 12 years ago. I was starting out. I was looking for a job. It was a pretty low part in my life. I didn't have much money at that time as well. And then during the thing is when you don't have a lot of money, you always have a lot of time, and you get time to contemplate, get time to think about life and everything. And I think the height of my day during that time was having enough money to buy the daily paper. So one day I was reading through the newspaper. It's a local paper here, and there was like this advertisement for a seminar. It's like a 50-cent seminar. So I had 50 cents during that time, and so I went and attended the seminar. So it was about NLP. It was about your subconscious mind mastery and everything. And I approached the speaker at that time, the trainer, and I told him about my situation. I said I'm looking for a job, and he said, okay, why don't you try saying these affirmations to help you get a job. And one of the affirmations was this phrase is called "I'm in the process." So every time I would look at the classified ads, or I would send out a resume to apply for a job, I would say, I'm in the process of getting a job. And I think 3 days after that, I got an interview. And I think a couple of days after that, they offered me the job. And it was just like, the job I wanted, I had in mind, I sort of like visualized. And I promised myself from that moment, whatever money or earnings I'd get, I would, plow it back and, reinvest and start learning about personal development and everything. So I eventually took all the courses that this guy offered, and we became good friends. We're still in contact now. He's very successful. He's written like 6 books now. And every year we meet up and exchange notes and everything. So going back to that phrase, I'm in the process. So one day I was in Borders here in KL, and I was like, just browsing around, and then I came across a book with the title Law of Attraction. And I opened it up. I picked it up from the table. I remember I was like just skimming through it, and then somehow this phrase caught my attention. It was written in the book. I am in the process. So then I think, but hey, this is what this guy was talking about. And then I contacted him. I told, hey, you told me about this, using the phrase I'm in the process. I found this book. It's called Law of Attraction, and the phrase is inside there. And it's like, yeah, that's the book I was reading. And like, oh my God. So I got this book, and again, I started applying everything that I learned, from reading it. And again, I gotten some really interesting results from it. Um, and then 1 year after that, I actually met the author when he came to Malaysia. So when he came here as well, I was trying to meet him, but then it was like a closed event. They only offered it for like certain members of an association or something here. And I remember writing down, I'm in the process of meeting the author. So same thing, 3 days after that, the organizers called me up, say, hey, we have some seats open for you. You're welcome to attend. And by the way, we're giving you like a discounted price. They gave me a discount. I remember that. And I got to meet the author of the book, Law of Attraction. And I remember after that, I think 3 months after that, I was in Vancouver. I went to Vancouver to actually get trained to become a certified law of attraction facilitator. And then I came back here, and then ever since then, I've been just teaching it and sharing the message. So that's pretty much the story.
That's amazing, man. What a cool process. Just happenstance, happened to find a book, and then, happened to
Yeah,
figure out how to
it
make
is. It is. Sometimes you can't explain how these things happen, but they just happen.
Yeah, and it just kind of, in that very moment you thought, wow, that's interesting. Your curiosity was piqued. I think that's key in life, honestly. Like whenever I'm out and about, I just try to keep my curiosity at peak levels, because I find that in life, like whenever I'm the most curious is whenever I'm enjoying life the most.
Yes, that's true. Because when you're curious, how do you feel? You have that like childlike excitement, and that's a very strong positive vibration. And we're always sending out vibrations. So the thing about law of attraction is that whatever vibration you're sending out, law of attraction is going to match that and give you more of the same.
Yeah, and you know what's cool about curiosity, and specifically, is that it really reduces the amount of fear that I have with trying to learn new things or discover new places. Like normally, I'm kind of scared, like, oh, it's something new. I don't know what that is. I don't know if I should do it. But with curiosity in play, I'm actually kind of attracted to it. It sounds fun and exciting and thrilling. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's totally helped
yeah,
me live a more happy and fulfilled life, and get
yeah,
into new business models and explore new niches, and talk to more people, and interview, cool people like you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. That's
So
right.
I'm
That's right.
curious, what,
Um,
how do you define the law of attraction? Or what's your definition of it?
Uh, the definition of law of attraction for me, it's very simple. You attract into your life whatever you give your energy, attention, and focus to, and that can be positive and it can be negative at the same time. So that's the simplest definition that I can give people.
It's awesome, man. Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
simple. And I think that's
Hmm.
great, keeping it simple too, because it doesn't need to be
Hmm.
complicated. It's truly just like how you think, how you feel, what you
Yeah.
do, what you say, what your
Yeah. Yeah.
reactions are to things. Like I find, like I run into so many different external things throughout the day, external
Yeah.
influences, and
Hmm.
how
Hmm.
I find that how I react to them matters more than than the actual happening itself. Like, okay, that happened, so what am I going to do about it? Like, is it going to
Yeah.
be a positive reaction, a negative reaction? Is it
Yes.
going to
Yes.
be a big thing? Is it going to be a little thing? you know it's
Yes.
up to me in
So
that moment. I guess it's a
yeah.
decision. I can make a choice.
That's right. That's right. So one of the things that I think is key to understand about law of attraction is that it's all about vibes. So we use the word vibes a lot, but when we say vibes, actually we're talking about our emotions, our mood or feelings. So again, when you're giving off a positive vibe, you will tend to attract more positive things in your life. And likewise, if on the opposite end, if you're giving off negative vibrations, you're going to be attracting negative things. So one of the things that you like you say is like when you're experiencing something, you always decide right. So if you are experiencing a negative vibration, you can actually shift that by asking the right kind of questions. So one of the questions you can ask yourself is, okay, so what do I want? And so I'm experiencing this. I don't like it. It's a negative vibration. What do I want? And just answering that question, it gives you a bit of clarity, and it can actually reset your vibration. So most people, if you ask a question, you would find that they get stumped, because very rarely are we asked what do we want in life.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really, really powerful right there. What do I want?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's really simple. That's it. So, but just being able to shift that, you'll see some profound changes. A lot of the times when you're trying to make changes, it's just like really really small things, 5%, 10% changes, but then you'll see massive results because of these changes.
It's funny, man. Like so much in life, I think, is mental. It's in our heads. It's like what we think and perceive of the world around us. It's not so much what it is; it's how we think of it and like feel about it. And then
Yes,
how we
yes,
act towards it. Or the
yes,
opposite, how
yes,
we act away from it, or something like that. Can
Yes,
you explain a
exactly.
little bit how maybe you go about dealing with things in your life, or maybe just try to provide some examples of stories that you might have where like you've had to like deal with a negative situation or maybe some negative thoughts and you've overcome it somehow, you know?
Well, I would say there was maybe I can share you the story of looking for an apartment a couple of years ago. Um, I mean, looking for an apartment here in KL, sometimes it's a bit challenging because there's like so many choices and everything. And what I wanted was a place that was close to the office that time. And I think I was writing things down uh, for an ideal apartment. And as I was doing this, again, just asking the questions, so what do I want, and making a list out of it. So during that time, I had my list. I did an exercise. It's called the clarity through contrast exercise, where every single thing you didn't like about your previous apartments that you stayed or whatever, you would always ask that question. If I didn't like this last time, what do I want this time? And just write that down. And I made it into a short paragraph that you could like read out every morning, and just went about my normal daily schedule. But the one thing that I did do during that time was to always carry around a small notebook that I put in my pocket. And what I would do is every single time I had something happen to me that which I liked, um, someone bought me a cup of coffee, or there was some abundance, or there was some gratitude in that moment, I would take out that notebook and I would write it down. So in a way, it was training me to sort of like focus on the good things that I did have in my life, and generate that positive vibration. And I think about maybe 2 months afterwards, I had a friend call me up and say like, hey, did you find your apartment yet? And I told him no, and he said, I'm being transferred out to Australia. Do you mind having a look at my place? Maybe you want to stay there. So I went to his place. I remember it was a very nice apartment, and I just asked him, how far away is this from the KLCC park? And he said it's about 10 minutes. And then going back to my list of things that I wanted, I actually wrote down 10 minutes away from KLCC park. And true enough, yeah, he said, yeah, if you're okay with the place, you can just stay here. And I think I ended up staying there for almost 1 year at a very good rate. I mean, I paid like, I don't know how much, but if you were to compare it to like the local rates here, I'd probably pay like 50% less than market rate.
It's amazing, man. I love the story
Yeah,
because you talk
yeah,
about like you wrote it down, and you were
yeah,
focusing on it. You were just
yeah.
putting all of your effort and energy and emotion into that thought of this is what I want. That's so cool.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
right.
I always find in life that if I focus on what I really want, truly, it does
Hmm.
come to me, a lot more often than if it doesn't. Like I find too, it's kind of cool, new
Hmm.
opportunities arise when I'm more open to them. And it's usually because I'm
Yeah,
focusing on things that I actually want, you know, it,
yes, that's right. That's right.
people go through this all the
And
time,
yeah, and again, when you focus on it, what's the emotion that you have? Is it excitement? Is it yeah, you're looking forward to it.
I'm
So
feeling
so
like
having
this
those.
feeling of like actually having it almost. That's the trippy part,
Yes, yes, that's right. So having the emotion, having that vibe is very important, because that is the thing that's going to bring you closer to the manifestation. A
Yes.
lot of the times, people will try and say, I want to do this, or write down something, but at the same time, the emotion that they have, or the vibe they have with it, isn't positive. They have some doubt or something, and that actually stops the manifestation from happening.
One of the biggest things that I found in life that really helps me get through any kind of an obstacle or anything like that is a very similar thing. And it's whenever I have like a problem that I run to or something like that, I always write
Right,
down like a keyword, like how to blank, right? And I know,
right.
like, for instance, like just a really specific thing, but my Google AdWords account, like I'm not getting as many clicks as I want to get or something like that. So I
Hmm.
write that down and say, okay, how to get more clicks on Google AdWords. And then I'll take that statement that I just thought up, like, okay, that's what I want to find. That's the solution to my problem. And then I just
Right,
type it into Google. Because the way they
right.
design the internet is amazing, man. Like
Yes, yes,
they
yes.
know solutions to problems. And it's like,
Yes.
and I learned this when I was just getting out of high school. I think it was like
Mm-hmm.
2004, 2005. My
Mm-hmm.
sister was really into the internet back then. And she taught
Mm-hmm.
me how learning how to break your ideas down into keywords and statements
Right.
and putting them
Mm-hmm.
online, like at a website back
Mm-hmm.
then, it was like ask.com or something like that, or
Mm-hmm.
Ask
Mm-hmm.
Jeeves,
Oh
I
yeah,
think was
I
one of
remember
the,
ask.
you remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Or AOL.com or something like that,
Yeah.
or Yahoo.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was one of the biggest ones. But
Yeah.
now it's all Google. And anyway, so
Yeah.
I realized that, and I was like, okay, like in your instance, finding an apartment, like now, like
Mm-hmm.
I always use it. I'm like, okay, how to find an
Mm-hmm.
apartment. I know, generally speaking, I'm probably going to find someone's blog post who's probably like
Mm-hmm.
kind of a travel blogger or something like that, and they've written down
Right.
like a whole thing of their experience, and that's kind of cool. It's like, it's very insightful, something that I can
Mm-hmm.
actually learn like what to expect. And then if I just type in a more broad statement like Bangkok
Mm-hmm.
apartments, then I'll really
Yeah.
understand like okay, what's actually available in the marketplace right now. Well, we
Yeah.
found our apartment just through Airbnb. It was so happenstance, but so cool too, because it was like, Juliana was looking around and she was thinking, if we pay a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more money, we'll get a way better place. And I
Right.
was just thinking to myself, that sounds great to me, so let's do it. And then it was an Airbnb, and it just turned out to be this amazing apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we ended up just canceling our whole summer trip and deciding to settle down in Bangkok and,
Yeah.
kill it and get some work done, do some really good
Yeah.
like things,
Yeah.
and come back and be like refreshed again and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it's been working out
Yeah.
really well, and it's all good.
And when you found that apartment, how was the vibe like? How was it? How was the feeling?
The guy who met us, he was
Yeah.
downstairs, and he was super friendly, and he was just like the
Uh-huh.
nicest guy. And his apartment was
Yeah.
really nice, and he was just so chill, and he helped us the entire time. And we just had such a good attitude, and he had a great attitude. And it was a good experience. It was a really good experience. And this whole unit here, like the whole building is brand new. And so we went to the manager and we said, hey, do you guys have other rooms available? And they said, yeah. And we looked at a few of them. They were really nice too. And
Mm-hmm.
price was great. It's under $600 a month here for this luxury 1-bedroom. Like, prices are insanely good out here. And there's so
Wow,
many brand new places.
that's really great. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's like I don't know. That's like what half the price of what you paid US or something.
Literally, you cannot get in the US what you can get out here. Like, this is fully furnished.
Mm-hmm.
Fully furnished, like a couch, TV, like desks, dresser drawers, huge bed.
Yeah.
It's amazing. A washing machine, 12th floor overlooking the city. Like, you can't even get it, but if you could, it'd probably be in like the thousands, like $2,000-$3,000 maybe. Like, fully furnished, probably looking at like 4 or 5 in LA, Los Angeles, which is where I lived before. And it's just like, you just can't get that, and out here, and everybody's so friendly, and they're just looking at you like, oh, we're just happy to have customers. And I'm just like, oh God, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Like, just more positive vibes going back and forth. And now whenever I see them, I smile every time, so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, man,
Mm-hmm.
it's so great
Mm-hmm.
having that positivity really helps me get through my life a lot better and to have better experiences. I found.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how you're helping people find their path and like manifest the life of their dreams through law of attraction? You're doing workshops, right, in Malaysia?
Yeah. So I currently do workshops. They are they're small workshops, probably about seven to 8 people. And how it works is that we do a half-day session first. And during this half-day session is basically, it's like learning the fundamentals of the whole law of attraction process. And we do exercises. We get clarity. You define an area in your life that you want to improve in. So usually it's either wealth, your business, or relationships, one of those two. Pick one first, and then from there we do the exercises, and then at the end of that day, I give you some exercises to keep on doing on a daily basis. There's some daily practice stuff, and after about a month or so, we meet up again, and it's like a review, and we trade notes, and I just see like what the results have been. Anything interesting happen, or is there anything that they need some direction in. And then there'll be another session after that. So usually there's like 3 meetups, and most of the time people at that stage, they get pretty good. They start getting things, or at the same time they get more abundant. Yeah. So that's the workshop. At the same time, I also do coaching as well. Coaching is more of a one-on-one kind of process, and it's a bit I would say it's a bit more intimate than the workshops, and that is usually on a weekly basis. So we go through the same process, but again, it's a bit more in depth, and there's a lot more sharing in the coaching.
Cool.
So yeah, that's basically how we work it.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So, the law of attraction is really cool, and it's wonderful that you help people with it. And
Mhm.
so I just want to ask this, have you watched the movie The Secret?
Yes, I have.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I want to tell you a quick story. It was when I was, I think I was probably 21 or something like that. I was
Uh-huh.
in college, kind of in and out of jobs and stuff like that. And I had just tried to move down to California and started staying there. And I was having a tough time, finding a job. You were talking about like
Right.
you were having a tough time, and
Uh-huh.
I was in a similar place in my life. Not a lot of money, really kind of just broke and trying to make ends meet by,
Mhm.
doing odd stuff and honestly just asking for money from my parents to make ends meet. But
Mhm.
so I was really having a tough time, and I was kind of at that stage where like I was racking up credit card debt, just trying to live day to day. And I was about ready to go back to Seattle to live with my parents
Mhm.
again because I couldn't make it out there. And I was lucky
Mhm.
enough, and I met a girl, and she brought me over to her house, and her uncle actually knew
Mhm.
about this thing called The Secret. And we were talking over there, and we were having like a dinner party and stuff like that. And I started to explain to them how I'm having trouble, and they kind of saw I was down and depressed. And they
Mhm.
said, you know what, let's all watch The Secret right now. It's a really good movie. You guys are going to like it. And I thought, what is
Mhm.
this BS, crazy stuff. I don't know what you're, okay,
Yeah.
sounds fun to me, whatever. Let's
Crazy
just watch
woo
it.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah, woo, I don't know, what is this, religious
Yeah.
thing or something? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we sat down, and it was kind of cool. It's like a documentary style. There's a lot of people, they have
Mhm.
interviews, they're talking about stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I hadn't heard of any of these people like Bob Proctor, like any of these
Mhm.
guys before, like really. But the way they were talking and the things they were saying were really kind of like piquing my interest
Mhm.
and stuff like that, made me start
Mhm.
thinking about things a little bit more.
Mhm.
And I remember one moment specifically in that movie where they have you sit down in your chair,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
and they have you hold the steering wheel of the car of your dreams. Like whatever it is, a Porsche, Ferrari, maybe
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
that is. The car of your dreams, a BMW, Mercedes
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Benz, and
Uh-huh.
close your eyes, right, and you hold that
Uh-huh.
steering wheel, and you and
Yeah.
you and
Yeah.
you press the gas, and you feel the rush of energy when
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
driving fast, and you're turning down the road, and you see yourself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So they were trying
Mhm.
to teach us, I think,
Mhm.
basically
Mhm.
manifesting things like
Mhm.
visualization, and the
Yeah.
visualization techniques that I started
Mhm.
learning through that, I really
Mhm.
took seriously. And by the end of that movie, I was convinced that like what I needed to do is start really just visualizing what I really wanted. Like first decide what
Yeah.
I want, and then visualize it, and not
Mhm.
just visualize it, but also feel like the energy and the emotions of
Yeah.
the actual
Yeah.
feeling already
Yeah.
having it. And I think that was like the
Yes.
biggest secret I learned from that whole thing. And
Yes.
at the end of the movie, I love the last part of it, where it's just like
Mhm.
the secret to life is just feel
Yes.
good, And I was like,
Yes.
wow, like they summed this whole thing
Yeah.
up in literally 2 words, feel good. And
Yeah.
I was just like, that
Yeah.
stuck with me for the rest of my life, It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
positivity and feeling good. I mean, how do you feel about that movie? I thought it was great.
I liked the movie. It was a good. It was very inspirational. That's what I could say. It really inspired a lot of people. I mean, the book is also pretty good as well. The book, and yeah, I recommend that as well. Even to my students as well. That's like one of the key things that they should start reading. And yeah. I think the movie really started this whole movement, I guess, of people believing that based on your thoughts and everything you can really influence your outcome.
I remember after watching that movie, I started reading a lot of books about it. It introduced me to
Yeah.
Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
A Man Thinketh, I think is the name of
as
the book.
as a man
As a
thinketh.
Man Thinketh. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
revolutionary for me. I mean, I
Yeah.
just
Those are classics, man. Those are
amazing,
classics.
amazing
Yeah.
literature.
Hmm.
And yeah, just so many more books, How to Win Friends and Influence People, stuff like that, where like I started
Yeah.
learning that like it's about me and my positivity, my outwardness, but also
Yes.
like understanding
Yes.
of other people and my ability to approach people and ask questions and be more friendly towards others and get people to like me, and influence people. So that's a
Hmm.
really good book, guys. How to Win Friends and Influence People, Think and Grow Rich, As a Man
Yeah.
Thinketh. There's so many other books that I recommend. You can go to the ecommerceparadise.com website, the resources page, and at the bottom, there's all these Kindle books that I recommend, all these books that I read when I was first coming up. Really good stuff, literature that's just wild like crazy. Some of them is really like very marketing specific, like a lot of Seth Godin's literature is really good. Rich Dad Poor Dad is another one that really like kind of, you know, struck a chord with me as far as like working to learn instead of just working for the hours, you know. There's so much other good stuff. Cal, what's like the number one thing that you tell somebody to do when they first get started on this journey of, you know, like law of attraction?
First starting, what I would tell them to do is I would tell them, you know, to start writing things down. You know, get a notebook, and you know, practice writing, you know, what you want, your gratitude. You know, there is I don't know how to explain it, but there's something about writing things down. You know, when you put pen to paper, it's really amazing. And there, you know, there's this thing. It's called neuroplasticity. I don't know if you heard of it, but you know, every time when you write things down with your muscles and everything, it affects your brain. So when you're writing something that you want or something that you're grateful for, you know, you're rewiring your brain, and you do this consistently for, you know, 21 days, you're going to see changes. And I would that would be like my number one thing I tell people, you know, start writing things down. Number two is, you know, if you have a bed, make sure there's nothing underneath your bed. Get rid of the clutter under the bed. Again, this is for the energy. You know, it really helps with the circulation of energy and everything. So yeah, those are probably like the two top things.
Wow, you guys, man, you just got some golden nuggets from Izad, like life-changing golden nuggets.
Yeah,
Literally,
yeah.
write things down. I mean, how simple is that? And yet it's so powerful, right? I mean, you just write down what you want, write down what you're grateful for. And it's just such a great place to start. I remember changing from internet-based notes, computer, like iPhone-based notes to actually writing notes down. And I found that I was actually able to relax a lot while I was doing it. It's a very relaxing process. It relieves the stress of it all, which is actually nice.
And you know what's even what another really good thing of writing stuff down on paper is, you know, just imagine in the future when you become like a world famous author or someone really prominent, you know, those paper notes are going to be worth a lot of money. You know, people have actually, you know, like the auctions, like in Sotheby's and all that, they actually like auction off the letters that, you know, the first draft of a script or something gets auctioned off for millions or something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. They still have it, you know, like they didn't just crumple it up and throw it away or something. They held on to it.
So for me, you know, personally, I have close to about I think 20 notebooks right now.
Wow.
From all the years. And
Impressive.
so, yeah. So, but then, you know, somewhere, you know, what I tell myself is somewhere in these notebooks is going to be a really good story somewhere.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you later on in life you can look back and read your stuff, you know, and kind of laugh and stuff. You mentioned NLP really early on in the episode, and it's such this like ethereal thing to people. I wanted to see if you could maybe break it down a little bit, make it a little bit more tangible for people, understand what that means.
NLP, it stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming. So I mean, as simple as this is, you know, it's again using the words that you have, using your language to basically influence outcomes, influence people, mostly people. And so again, there's lots of techniques in NLP that you can learn. A lot of them are technical. I was fortunate to learn from one guy here. He's based here in Malaysia as well. He made it really simple. So he got rid of all this jargon that you might hear. You know, they have a lot of technical terms. And it goes back to your language. So the words you use on a daily basis will influence your outcome. And so, I mean, one of the best examples that we like to use the word no a lot, or don't. I don't do this. I don't like that. Right. But you're surprised that every single time you start using the word don't in a sentence, that thing that you don't want, most probably will start coming into your life. And it's the same thing with the Google search. You know, you try typing like, you know, you try this experiment in Google, you know, no football or no soccer, and the results that come out.
I never thought about that. That's amazing. That is so genius. It's true.
Yeah. So again, I think, the universe, your subconscious, it doesn't recognize these words, so that's, I think, when you talk about NLP, again, it's all about the words you're using. And I'm yeah, I'm a fan of NLP, though sometimes it's a bit hard to practice. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I mean, it's definitely a hard thing to make a habit out of, to like rid those kind of words out of your life. And sometimes you just can't, avoid it. But at the same time,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, it's true that if you just focus on what you're talking about more, like if you just
Yeah.
observe, I guess, what you're saying throughout the
Yes.
day, you can
Yes.
then decide whether you want to change that or not, or
Yes.
I guess in
Yes.
your, improve it, or you just evolve as a human being. I mean, personal development, right, is all just about us developing our personal lives and,
Yeah.
trying to make
Yeah.
things better in some way. And I think people that are on this path, people that are listening to this episode specifically, are interested in improving their lives. And
Mm-hmm.
man,
Mm-hmm.
you guys have probably learned so much already. Izad, you've been really helpful, man. This is amazing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's so much cool stuff dropped in here. Make sure you guys say, like, when you want to achieve anything, that you say, I am in the process, because you're making it
Yes.
more real. You're making it like
Yes.
something that you're already achieving, which is so
Yes.
key, to like actually manifesting in your life, is creating it.
Yes.
But the one tip I want to throw in there really quick is surrounding yourself with people that are already doing what you want to be doing. So whether that's, entrepreneurship, whether it's like you were saying, get healthier or get in a better relationship, whatever that is that you want, that you've written down, surround yourself with people that are already there, because there's nothing more real than seeing it actually happening in real life. So if you want to be in a good relationship, try to meet somebody or hang out with people that are in a good relationship. If you want to make more money, try to meet somebody, hang out with people that are making a lot of money in whatever field you want to be in, whether that's online or offline. If you want to get healthier, go online to YouTube and search, type in these questions like how to, get healthier and stuff like that. If you surround yourself physically, though, you're going to be in someone's physical presence. I found in my life, this is the most effective way for me to change anything in my life, is to actually surround myself physically with somebody, because I feel their emotions
Yes.
more.
Yes.
And
That's right.
I catch their energies and stuff like that. And just
you feel the vibes, man.
you feel their vibes. It's just like, that's
Yes,
exactly
that's right.
what it is, man.
That's right. That's right.
And it's just hearing like the little things they say that to them is normal, to
Yeah.
you is something that is not normal. It's something you want to make normal in your life, right? And
Yeah.
to them it's normal. So like them it being normal, it tricks your mind to thinking it's normal, and now you're manifesting it more. I found some of the most important things in my life have come from me surrounding myself with people that are already doing it. So I just wanted to drop that out there for the listeners.
Yeah.
Izad, where can people find you if they want to learn more about law of attraction?
Sure. Yeah. They can go to my website, calizad.com.
Cool.
And
Kalizad.com, KALIZAD.com. I'll drop a link in the description if you're watching on YouTube. If you're on the podcast, definitely go check out the YouTube video version of this. Izad is a really friendly guy. It's super awesome. So if you want to learn more about law of attraction, go to his website, sign up for some coaching, or fly out to Malaysia and go to one of his workshops. It's pretty awesome. Izad, thank you so much for being on the podcast, man. And the listeners really appreciate it.
Okay, no problem.
And we'll talk to you again later.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye.